We're having a great time here on Bark Lake. You know, we're only about 20 minutes from Barry's Bay, Ontario. And I'm looking at this gorgeous shoreline and point that's right here, right at the mouth of Bell's Bay. You can see by looking at the rest of the shoreline that it's all wild. It's all pristine, and pretty well all of it is crown land. So what a secluded location and such great fishing. And the water is so clean and deep with all different species of fish. What a beautiful place.
Let's go fishing. People, when you're in the mood, let's go fishing. Well, it's just me and you. Head on down to the fishing hole. Grab your hat, get your pole. Let's go fishing. When you're in the mood.
Canadian Sport Fishing is brought to you by Rapala, premium fishing gear crafted from experience. Yamaha Outboards, reliability starts here. Sail, the outdoors superstore. Insect Defend Patch, deep-free protection from biting insects.
Good morning. We've got a nice fresh day. It's about 5 Celsius. It's almost October, and we're in mid-northern Ontario. We're around Barry's Bay, Ontario, and we're on beautiful Bark Lake. Later on, when the sun comes out a little bit, you'll see that the leaves are a beautiful color. This lake is a big, deep lake that can get pretty rough. Barb and I have been fishing here the last few days, and we've had some interesting conditions to deal with. The lake is 17 miles long, and in some places about 300 feet deep. So it has all kinds of game fish. So this time of the year, the lake's pretty quiet. Most of the people that have come up are gone back home because they've shut down their facilities. We're here to let you know that there's going to be a beautiful wilderness development that's going to be erected right on that shoreline. It's called Lake Woods, and it's in a beautiful part of Ontario. But the thing that I like is the fishing. So right now we're heading out to deep water to about 40-50 feet, and we're looking for a hump. We're going to try to get some fall smallmouths. We're going to start off by using crankbaits and then whatever techniques once we find the fish to get them. Okay, Barb, we're almost on the first hump. Barb, we must be on a school of smallmouth. Look at this guy. That's one way not to lose your fish. Kind of get one in the mouth and get him broadside. See if he'll stay on.
Good going, Italo.
Chunky little fall smallmouth.
Yeah.
What we're looking is for his bigger relatives. You know, here at Bark Lake, the water in some places is more than 300 feet deep. So in the fall, we had some major cold front move through. About a week and a half of strong rain, and the fish have gone deep. So we're fishing some open water humps, and because we've got a calm day this morning, we're trying some deep diving crankbaits off this hump first, and then we're going to try vertical jigging spoons. So I'm using the electric, using the sonar, using all the equipment to try to stay on these fish. Just cranking. We've got overcast skies, which is another reason for these fish to be a little shallower maybe. But we've been getting the smallmouths here as deep as 40 feet or deeper. So that's why we were using the vertical jigging spoons, and we had 3 and 4 foot waves fishing this exact spot. the last couple days. A little bit bigger on the vertical jigging spoon. Are you stuck, Barb?
Yes.
I'll try and come and give you a hand as soon as I
Okay.
release this guy. You know, when the water gets cold and the smallmouth are in deeper water, a lot of people don't think of using just a vertical jigging spoon. So we don't have any bait on this. You can see it's literally just a piece of metal. This particular one is about 3/4 ounce. And all you do is drop it down and jig it a couple of times. So these are really healthy smallmouths here in Bark Lake. And I've got a feeling we're going to get some 18 and even 19 and 20 inchers. You can see how chunky they are. So they're feeding on a lot of bait fish. I'm just going to drop them back into the water. Okay, Barb, I'm going to change the spoon. Now the size of spoon that you use is really important. When we were out here in about 3 to 4 foot waves, we had to use 2-ounce spoons. But now, because we're in calm weather today, we're going to go to some 3/4 ounce. So Barb, I'm going to put one on for you.
Okay.
So what we're using to do this jigging, we're actually using braided line. It's about a 10-pound test braid. We're using a snap swivel because we don't want, actually the spoons come with a little swivel already. That's because the spoon darts and flips and twists in all different directions, creating a lot of flash. Okay, so there's our little snap from Lure Jensen. There's the spoon. This is the one that Barb did have on. You can see the size difference. So that's a 2-ounce that I'm holding up here on the right, and this is about a 3/4 ounce on the left. So they're literally just a wedge, and they've got a little bit of metallic tape on there. So with these spoons, you don't cast out. You just let them drop to the bottom. As soon as it hits the bottom, you lift up and jig it. It's the same technique as you would use when you're ice fishing.
X-Mark, you find fish catch of the day.
Evan, how you doing? It's Tony Brecknock calling. I'm looking at your smallmouth bass and you're wearing a ski visor. You uploaded it to our app. I need to know. There's got to be a story back there, man.
We were out on Georgian Bay. It was a bit of a cold and windy day, and a wet day. When you're blasting across the lake at full speed and it's 4 degrees out, if you don't have ski goggles, you can't see a single thing. Had some really large smallmouth bass. We landed a 6.52 pound and another 4-1 beside it. The YouFind Fish app, was a great application. It helped it, so I ended up uploading it to the application after, so that other people can use my experience and go find those monster smallmouth bass.
Dynamite. Great picture. Excellent story. Thanks, brother.
This is so nice and calm, let me tell you, compared to the weather that we had. Another nice smallmouth on that tail dancer. We've got lots of fish on the bottom. You want to make sure that even a small smallmouth like that is kind of tired out, because there's 2 nice...
Oh, I got a fish.
Good one, Barb. You got to be careful because you got those 2 treble hooks that are pretty sharp. So you don't want a smallmouth that's thrashing in your hands. It's a nice little smallmouth. You can see how chunky they are, even barbs, you know. There's so many of these fish that you got to go through some of these small ones to get the bigger ones. We're going to kind of just keep casting here. The nice advantage about the Minn Kota with the autopilot, you can see that I'm actually running the electric from here. So I'm going to put us right back on the spot. Stop it and fire it out. Barb, I think we're going to hit some more. I got some of them were good size that we were marking.
That's awesome.
So, you know, when you're fishing these tail dancers, when you're casting like this, it's just important to have a steady retrieve because you want them to dive down. You don't want to jerk them or try to twitch them, because the whole idea is let that bill dig down so they get down to that 20-foot mark. And especially when you're fishing humps like this and you're casting, you can switch between the tail dancer, vertical jigging, drop shotting. They can all produce fish. think we're in a school. You know what? While you're fighting yours, I'm going to drop mine down if I can untangle it. Bring it over here, Barb.
Okay.
It looks like an 18, 19 incher. You're keeping it in the water, which
This
is
one,
good.
yeah, this one is going down.
The one thing you have to be careful when you get them on these spoons, or if you're drop shotting, is to, yeah, I know you
It's
got
a
them good.
jumper.
Look, you got them well, Barb, is that they can throw the spoons. So the drop shotting is a very good alternative. And man, he inhaled yours. Look at Barb, he's hooked just in the roof.
Yeah.
You can see Barb's weight is right here. It's about, I'd say 3/4 ounce weight. And above it, we've got one of those spin shot hooks with a little plastic grub. Isn't that a beautiful Bark Lake smallmouth bass?
Well fed.
Now, you know, when you consider this lake is 17 miles long, some places are 300 feet deep. It's got lots of lake trout, lots of smallmouth, lots of walleye. Today, because of the cold front, we're targeting the smallmouth. And most of it, you can see from the shoreline, it doesn't have any development on it. It's all crown land. So it's the ideal place to have a beautiful retreat. So I'm just gonna let him revive. I think he's got tons of energy, Barb. Look at here, come on. Come on. Oh, he wants to go out. And I'm gonna turn the light upside down. And he's free. There he goes. So originally, this was a river valley that they dammed at one end, so it is a large reservoir. Has a lot of native fish species. It's got pike, some largemouth bass in some of the protected bays. There's whitefish, there's ciscoes, there's lake trout. We've caught some nice lake trout, burbot, pike, walleye, and nice smallmouth bass. Set the hook, Barb.
Fish on.
You got one, Barb.
Yep.
Nice, eh? Just fishing these drop-offs.
Yeah, I mean, I just put it in for 2
Yeah.
seconds.
And remember, we're like the end of September. And look at the size of the fish
Oh,
we're
my
catching here.
goodness.
Just fishing on bottom. Because we've
There
had,
it goes.
oh, good release, Barb. You
Yay.
did good. So anyway, because of this relief, because it's a flooded valley that's created this beautiful lake, the lots actually have beautiful views of the lake. So you'll see that from some of the higher points. But this is my first time up here, and Barb's as well, and we're so impressed.
Oh, my goodness,
Set the
Italo.
hook. Set the hook.
Oh, yes. Another one.
Barb, you are good.
I know.
Look
Oh,
at-
this
out
is
of
a
the- He
jumper.
threw it again. You got to set the hook harder. Drop it down,
Okay.
Barb.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to stand here with the net. Drop it down. I'll be the coach, okay? Look it, I'm ready
Okay.
with the net.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Nathan Boats, Canada's finest aluminum boats.
For decades, when I've been fishing clear water for brook trout, rainbow trout, lake trout, especially in inland lakes, and also for walleye, where I've had to get deeper down, I've used the Rapala Countdown series, and it's worked great. And it's come in the traditional colors. The good news, if you're also a countdown fisherman, is that now there's a countdown in the X-Rap series from Rapala. I'm holding it up right here. This is the one that's about 4 inches long, and you can see that it's got a really nice glass finish. That's because it's part of the X-Rap series. And just like the other countdowns, it sinks when you fish it. So you can let it sink right to the bottom if the fish you're going for are on the bottom, or if you think they're suspended, you can use the countdown method, where when the lure hits the water, you start counting to see how long it takes for it to hit the bottom. And then if you only count half that amount and start retrieving it, you know that you're going to be in the midsection of the water column or anywhere in between. So the countdown lures are excellent, especially if you're fishing clear water where the fish are suspended somewhere between the top and bottom. And now in the X-Rap finish, I'm sure it'll produce even more fish. Good one. Good
Oh.
fish, Barb. Okay, see if you can walk him around again.
Okay, it's a jumper. Oh, my goodness, it's so
Okay,
active.
walk him around. He's got tons of energy. You know what? He's got to be fought out a bit.
Yeah.
Okay, try to hold him away from the motor if you can. Good one. You know what? Yeah, that is a huge smallmouth. Look it. On the drop shot rig. Barb, how many fish did you have there in a row? You
Oh,
had
I think
about
I had
4,
four.
5?
Yeah.
Look it. That fish is going to be approaching 20 inches. And you can see that grub just sticking out of the roof of his mouth. Barb, you set the hook really well. There's the point.
Thank you.
Coming off of that upper part. I'm going to take a quick measurement. I think he's going to be 19, almost 20. And while I measure him, Barb, you drop it down, okay?
Okay.
Because I don't know how long the school is going to be here on this deep water point. They are feeding really heavily, 19 inches.
Wow.
Beautiful smallmouth. Look at that, right here from Bark Lake. And you know what? You can see how nice and quiet and remote the setting is. There's going to be people that are going to be having homes just down that bay that you can see behind us. So what a place to have a beautiful wilderness development. Look at that, with awesome fishing. Okay, I'm going to get him back in the water. Okay, Barb, I wouldn't be surprised if you get a fish on. Look it. the size of this smallmouth. What a gorgeous, he's a slab. Okay, I'm gonna let him go down. There he goes. And Barb, I would lower your drop shot rig down. I'm gonna lower mine too, my spoon here. I just got a little bit of a mess because I got so excited from you getting your fish. I haven't been able to fish. The last fish I had on was the one where that school was busting up on the bait fish.
It's a happening place here.
Isn't this amazing, Barb?
It is. Lots
So how do you
of
like the
fish.
fishing at Bark Lake,
Oh,
Barb?
I love it. Fish, fish, fish.
Barb got a nice lake trout here
on.
when we were pre-fishing a couple days ago in deep water. I don't know if we're going to get a chance to fish lake trout because this is so much fun. Non-stop action. Even if you're fishing cold temperatures, less than 15 Celsius surface temperature, you can still find smallmouth bass by casting crankbaits, especially crankbaits that'll go down a little bit deeper. Now, we did really well fishing the Rapala Dives 2 series, but I wanted to tell you a little bit about the Clanking Crank. This is what I've got right here in my hands. It's an awesome lure because it casts like a bullet, and in the fall you get a lot of wind. It has a nice wide bill, so it'll dive down 10 plus feet, depending on how far you cast it. And the unique sound that it makes, I think, really attracts fish. I'm going to hold the hook still. It's a clanking sound. It's not really a rattling sound like other crankbaits. And as you can see, because of that lip, you get a really nice wide action, which I love. So it's a very good lure, especially if you're looking for fish in deeper water that are suspended. This is the deep down Husky jerk, and you can see that it's got a great color. It's got a flash of chartreuse or bright yellow. It's got a blue back like the Cisco's that are common in Bark Lake, and it also has a white belly and that nice long diving lip. So this lure will dive down 20 plus feet, and it's great to troll. You can even get a lake trout when they're suspended in that 30-40 foot range. So depending on how much line you have out, that'll determine how far down that lure will dive. Then the last one is called the deep rattling flatwort, and I'm holding it up here. Because it's flat, it has a really nice action from side to side. It casts well and it dives deep. So all these three lures are excellent if you're fishing for late season smallmouth bass and you're trying to locate them. Once you locate them, you can use bottom fishing gear like drop shot or even vertical jigging spoons, and you'll catch even more fish. If you purchase bait fish, always put unwanted bait fish in the garbage and dump the contents of your pail on dry land. It is illegal to dump any bait container into the water or within 30 meters of any pond, river, stream, or lake. Well, we've got our first hit on the copper line. You know, it's nice that Rapala has these outfits that you can take with you. They're not very expensive. And with 45-pound test copper line, for about every 10 feet you want to go down, you have to let about 30 feet of line out. So I'm retrieving slowly. Don't know what this could be this late in the year. Could be a bass, could be a walleye, could be lake trout. When Barb and I were out here the other day, we even caught a burbot, which is a ling or a freshwater cod. So I'm just over 100 feet. Barb, you're doing a great job controlling the boat.
Thank you.
We're in 78 feet of water. Okay, looks like a lake trout. I want to drop this net, get it a little bit closer. And it's going to probably thrash like crazy when I get it in there. Look it. Beautiful Northern Ontario lake trout. Come on, settle down. I got it on that original number 11 Rapala. I heard it burping a little bit. So what I'm going to try to do is get the hook out of it. It's only got one of the trebles left. So There, got the hook out. I'm going to very gently slide my hand underneath the gill plate. Ha! Got the hook in my sleeve. That's what I get for looking over at the other rod. Okay, let's try this again here. Give you a nice look at this lake trout. Okay, isn't that a nice lake trout? Right here from Bark Lake. A lot of people don't target these anymore, you know, because you got to take your time and troll in deep water, but I think they're so beautiful. Look at the markings on that fish. So he's got lots of energy because that water's cold, and I brought him up nice and slow. So I'm going to let him just get his energy back. I'm going to help him out a little bit, Barb. Aren't they beautiful, Barb?
They are. I love
that
the
nice
colors.
dark colors, yeah.
Yeah.
Look
Browns.
at gorgeous,
They
gold. They remind me so much of a brook trout, eh?
Yeah, they do.
What I'm noticing here, these Bark Lake Lakers, look at, they're beautiful. They're both part of the char family, the brook trout and the lake trout. You can see I'm taking my time reviving it because I want to make sure it's going to be okay. They're such gorgeous fish. Just going to hold it out with that net a little bit, using it like a paddle. Once it's vertical, there it goes. Just swam out of my hand. Now let me show you the Rapala I got that on, because we've been doing well fishing this deeper water. I mean, this is one of the original Rapalas. What I mean by original, it's balsa wood. This is the 11 centimeter one. It has that shallow diving lip, and it has that great action from side to side. 3 small treble hooks that really hold on to the fish. And I've got that Rapala on about a 30 or 40 foot length of fluorocarbon leader material. And up the line, just in case there's a little bit of twisting, you can see that I've got some bead chain. So that bead chain is like a mega swivel. So you can see it there just in the palm of my hand. Because if you're running a spoon or a gang troll, which a lot of guys do for lake trout, a lot of times you can get twisting in the line, and you don't want to get line twists, especially with copper or lead core line.
Canadian sport fishing is brought to you by Suffix, the world's most hardcore fishing line. Yamaha Outboards, reliability starts here. Sail, the outdoors superstore. Insect Defend Patch, deep-free protection from biting insects.
Greetings from beautiful Bark Lake. My name is Gary Medwood. Bark Lake is a spectacular lake. Pristine, undeveloped, clean, a place of peace and tranquility. We call it the center of the universe. And there's good fishing. Lakewoods is a new, year-round, upscale, residential lakefront community. We believe Lakewoods will become a premier destination in Ontario.